Hi folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to the anime review. Today we're looking at Darling of the FRANXX, episode 2. Now, I don't know where to start with this review. I really don't. I don't mean that in a bad way, guys and girls. I'm not saying that this show's bad by any means. I'm actually saying I really dig this show. I'm really loving this show. I mean, I expected that much from Trigger and A1 Pictures combined, but there is so much originality in Darling of the FRANXX that it's interesting because the fact that you don't have the way they do things with a lot of other mech shows. Like, let's first talk about the biggest thing that we learned this week is how these mechs are actually piloted. I'm gonna try to keep this, I want to say PG-13, the explanation of it, because it's very interesting how these things are piloted. So, as we know from last week's episode, a male and female are the only ones that can pilot the ships together. The male is in the back of the cockpit, and the female's in front, bending over. And controllers come out of her hips. And then the guy gets the controllers and, they're just positioned in a way that looks very, domineering, to say the least. And I'll say it right now, as much as people may want to complain about it and go, oh, this is kind of weird, you gotta give it to Darling of the FRANXX, creators. It's different. And that's the thing about the show that I'm always digging is that it's different. It's not your typical mech show. It's like, oh, here we go. No, it's quite different, and I kind of like that about the show. Do I like the way they did that? I don't know. That's going to definitely be some interesting things from some people. I know some of the fans probably going to have some issues with that, but, it's, if you look past it, just think of it as fan service, because it is fan service at the end of the day. It's actually very cool, and it's interesting and unique for a mech show. But this week's episode is pretty interesting because we see a lot of different elements happening. We see, first and foremost, that Hiro can pilot with other girls, but he needs a certain trigger to make him do it, which, by the way, I find that almost ironic to say Trigger, and the studio who made it is also Trigger. But whatever. Seeing past that, the thing is that with him getting kissed from a girl, it looks like, it activates something in him that lets him pilot the ship. For example, he went up against code number 666. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's like Zeromone or something like that, which that dude's so freaking annoying. Like, his attitude pisses me off something fierce. But, they got into a scrape with one another, and then they, challenge each other to see who's the better pilot, who's worthy of 02. And the thing is that, 02 doesn't care. She's like, no, my darling is Hiro. So, no matter what, she's sold on him being the one that's special. I mean, even the fact that she, clings to him is really adorable. By the way, the fact that she says darling is something that I love. People who know me understand what I mean by this. Other people probably have no idea. We'll keep it to that. We'll keep it that way. But anyways, the fact that, Hiro was able to activate his powers via a kiss is interesting because I wonder if that's maybe something genetics about him. Maybe it's not something as silly as we might be thinking, like, oh, maybe it's just because he has to get turned on or something like that. No, maybe there's a reason that it has to be a kiss that causes him to activate his powers because, it really seems like it could be interesting. And I feel like, again, this is Trigger. Trigger does, fan service, obviously, but they have reasons for their fan service a lot of times. Look at Kisniver, for example. Kisniver had some fan service here and there, but well, I don't even say that much, but it did have fan service here and there. The thing was that everything in Kisniver made sense, and that's just one of their works. I mean, everything in general makes sense. And that's why I'm thinking that there probably is a reason for, his activations being associated to a kiss. We also got this week the opening. I'm not a huge fan of the opening. I don't dislike it. I don't want to say that. It didn't resonate with me. Maybe I'll hear it a few more times. I'll like it more. But right now, it was okay to me. I really wouldn't want to keep listening to it all the time. I think it's okay. I know some people get triggered when you say an opening, like, it's their favorite opening. They go, what? How can you not like that? It's like, music's subjective, okay? I've had people legit, I'm almost afraid sometimes to say it, but I've had people unsub to me just because I didn't like an opening for a show. And it's like, if you really are that shallow as to unsubscribe to someone because they disagree with you just because of one thing, and that's being the opening or closing, which is music, which is the most subjective thing in this world besides literature, video games, etc. I don't know what to tell you, but it's an okay opening. I'm not, like I said, let me listen to it a few more times and maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. The ending song I do like. I think it's pretty good. It's catchy. But other than that, this week's episode was pretty interesting. We're starting to see some behind the scenes stuff besides what I even mentioned. We have this weird council that apparently is very interested in the fact that Hiro can pilot with 02 and there's something going on with that. So I mean, I'm definitely curious about that. But what did you guys think about Darling in the Franxx episode 2? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. As always, guys and girls, if you liked my reviews, think about hitting the subscribe button. If you haven't already subbed to me, think about hitting the like button. Check out my Patreon for various awards, etc. I will see you in my other reviews today. I have Citrus, I have Ancient Magus Pride, and March Comes Online. That's all geared up for today. Like I said, I'm going to space these out a little bit more than I usually do because I want you guys to enjoy them more. So I think Citrus will be up next, and Ancient Magus Bride probably shortly after, and then March Comes Online probably later tonight. I'll talk to you guys then. Have a great day if I don't see you in my next review. God bless you all. Bye-bye.